Hey, what's going on? Nathan here. Start off on phase one, workout one of our Skinny Jeans Transformation Challenge. This is going to be the core section. We're going to do two exercises. We've got the plank with leg lift, which we'll demonstrate here in a second, and then the T stabilization. We're going to work 8 reps on each of these. The first week, start off with about one set, kind of give it a feel, see how everything feels. Just working on technique, really working on perfect technique. Should be hitting an 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 on technique. Exertion shouldn't be too extremely high. We'll ramp it up throughout the phase. So the first one here on this plank stabilization, I'm going to have my partner Nate here go and toss a piece of PVC pipe. This is what we're looking for, is a nice straight line between the butt, upper back, and head right through here. It should be a nice straight line. So I don't want my head drop down right through here. I want it nice and open up right through there. Now, as I move into the leg lifts, I'm going to be doing 8 on each side. Still trying to keep the hips nice and stable right through here. So 8 on each side of that. Then we'll move into the T stabilizations. It's right through here, opening up towards the ceiling. Make sure the hips are opening up, and then coming right back down in that top push position, opening up right through here. From the front side, that's the core section. Next, we're going to move into power. We'll get that in here in a second. All right, so the next section here is going to be the power section. So on this, we're looking for a lot of speed, a lot of power. Some of you may not be ready for this yet, as far as the power and speed goes, so we may take it a little bit slower. There's some modifications that we can go over. You can use a kettlebell, a dumbbell, things like that. But for the standard push press exercise, start off right here in our standard rack position. Elbows up nice and tall is going to be our standard position, which we'll get into here in a little bit on the front squat. For the push press, dipping with the knees. So slight knee dip right through here. As you dip, you drive up overhead. So again, a dip is going to get that push. So it should get this right here. So you're only pushing and actually pressing with the shoulders for about the last half of the actual press. If you do one of these, you're not using the push press. You're doing a little bit of a squat and then into a shoulder press. You want to combine those two into so for this push press, we're doing 10 reps, working on speed, and go from there. All right, next section, we're working in the first set of our strength work. Again, shooting for a couple minimal sets, just working on technique these first couple weeks. Myself or one of the coaches will guide you on how many sets you should do, where your technique's at, and really plan that out. So on the front squat, first thing is addressing the bar. Should be roughly about collarbone height. Bringing it up underneath, again, getting those nice high elbows. Should feel like you're choking yourself right through here with the bar. So as you're coming up underneath, get a good choke. This will create that shelf on the shoulder right here to keep that nice and stable. So right from here, dropping down into your squat. Nice and low. Again, you want to get as low as possible. Driving up by looking up with the eyes. The keys right here are that if you fall forward in the front squat, guess what? The bar's taking you with it. So you want to keep that nice upright posture. Nice tall spine. Breathing in and way down. Out and the way up. Or you can mix up the breathing just depending on where you feel pretty comfortable at. For this right now, don't worry about the breathing. Nice and controlled. We're going to do 15 reps. Nice and slow right through here. I'm going to show this from the side. So you can see nice upright posture. Getting the hips nice and opened up. Don't want to come forward on the balls of the feet. But sit back on the butt. Nice upright posture. Keep the elbows nice and high throughout. Once you're done with the front squat, you're moving straight into, think of that, 60 seconds of rest. Then we'll move into 2-point dumbbell row. So right from here, you're going to find a box, roughly about between knee and hip height. Moving into a two-legged, take that 2-point stance. Right from here, and just rowing up, nice and solid, right through here. So this is a core stabilization. We don't want the hips rotating either direction. Want to keep them nice and locked in. Right to there. Once you're finished, 15 slow reps on that. Moving into a hip flexion stretch. So right from here, hips nice and even. We don't want to rotate it back. Driving forward as much as possible. Move with a front foot if you need to. Really drag to rear hip. Squeeze the rear butt cheek right through here. Really open up the hip. Once you're good with that, go up overhead. Inhale, tighten up the muscle. Exhale, relax through. We're going to do 30 seconds on each side. V2, you're going to lean a little bit to the side, open up this whole lateral line. Going to go through that set a couple times, depending on what's weak at the phase you're in, and we'll go from there. All right, so for our second set of strength exercises, we're going to be going through the Romanian deadlift. On your sheets, you'll see it as RDL. It's basically going to be a stiff leg deadlift, basically the same as a hip hinge pattern that we developed before we start working on swings. Go from that into the push-ups, and then into a single leg ankle mobilization. So for the RDLs, about a hip width, between hip and shoulder width stance, right through here, pushing the butt back as we're coming down. Legs aren't completely straight, there's still a little bit of bend. And then drive it up with the hips nice and tall. Make sure this upper body gets nice and upright. Shoulders from the side here. Again, pushing the butt back, letting the bar ride right down the legs. Should be very, very close. Should feel a good stretch in the hamstrings. And then drive up top. So right through here, right to there. 15 reps on that. Next, driving straight into the push-up. Push-up. Want the arms directly beneath the shoulders, right through here. Rotate the elbow pits to the front. Right through here, nice and solid. We're going to drop down and keep that nice, same posture we did on the planks. So right through here, elbows touching the ribs as you go down. If you need to regress, you can start off with a push-up hold for roughly 30 seconds or so, and then move through there. 15 reps on the push-up, show from the front. Again, with this one, make sure not to let the head drop. It's very, very common mistake. Make sure that head stays nice and neutral. Once you're done with the Romanian deadlift and the push-ups, you can be working into a single leg ankle mobilization. The goal is to keep this front heel nice and flat. Not worried about the backside. The backside doesn't really matter. Driving forward with that knee touching the wall. 10 of these on each side. Slide your foot back as far as you can before that heel starts popping up. So right about here, I'm starting to get a little bit of the heel popping up. It's about the limit of my range of motion. So we're looking for this mobilization right through here on the ankle. All right, so finishing off our workout, we're going to work some energy system training. Today's going to be speed squats. Looking for about 2 to 4 sets of 20 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. So coming right here in the standard speed squat, dropping down, trying to get as low as possible, driving right back up. Again, same as our other squats that we did with the front squats. We don't want to come forward. We want to keep that weight nice and solid as we come down. So 20 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest, 2 to 4 sets, depending on what week of the phase you're in. Your coach will guide you through that. And we're back with phase 1, exercise B. Take it back, workout B. We're going to be working on prone cobras combined with active leg lowering for the core section today. So on the prone cobra, pretty simple. Most of you have probably seen this before. Working on arms extended back here, and then legs right up here. Working for about 30 to 60 seconds on this first set. Once you finish that, flip yourself around. We're going to work on the active leg lowering. Key on this one is keep the back as flat as possible. So we want to rotate the hips up as we're coming down. So an easy way to check that is keep the hands right underneath here on the lower back. Make sure it's nice and flat. Working on slowly lowering the legs down without getting too much of an arch in the lower back, right through here. All the way down. If you need to regress a little bit, you can start with maybe one leg. Slowly lowering that one down. Switch the other leg. slowly lower that one down. Good work, about 8 to 10 reps on that one, and then we'll get into the power section. All right, next section is going to be the power. Today we're going to be working on kettlebell swings. If you haven't done swings before, get with one of our coaches, that way we can bring you up to the right level. First you got to master the deadlift, the hip hinge, work with some club bell swings before getting to the actual kettlebell swing. So kettlebell swing right here, you can either start it in a deadlift position or you can hike it from the front. Doesn't really matter too much. Grab it with both hands, you're going to hike it back. From here, we're looking to drive with the hips, explosively. Now this one's going to be power, so we're looking for maximal force development as fast as possible, really trying to drive and squeeze, only for 10 reps. Once you get the pattern in, you can change up the breathing if you want to be a little bit more efficient. I'll show from the front here real quick. Some key points on this. So make sure you're loading the hips on the backside. So as you come back, just like that remaining deadlift we did in workout 1, loading back this way so we can explode through on this side. Don't want to squat, not really doing a squat. Also with the bell, we don't want it way down here. It's going to put a ton of stress on the lower back by swinging low. Keep it nice and high, right through here. So working on that nice high crotch swing right through there. Don't worry so much about height of the bell. It's also not a lateral raise, so we're not doing we want to actually work with hip drive. Arms are completely relaxed, nice and loose. They're just holding on the belt, and that's pretty much it. Next, we'll move into the first section of our strength work. All right, we're back on workout B, strength exercise tricep 1, working on deadlift. Then we'll be moving into a overhead press and then a 90-90 stretch on the floor. So first one on the deadlift. Pretty much the same setup as our RDLs before. Only difference is now we're actually squatting down versus just pushing the butt back. So legs are getting a little bit more of a bend, still keeping it nice and close to the body. So the RDL was more one of these things. Now we're actually coming down and getting nice and low on the ground. Wherever the plates happen to stop, it's going to be the end range of motion. You may start off with partial range until you get that strength. Some of the key points on this one is make sure not to stop here, but get a full lockout with the upper body and the hips. Keep the bar nice and close to the thighs, right down here. A good deadlift, you're probably going to scrape up your shins a little bit, bleed a little bit, builds character. It's good for you. Next one, the overhead press. Unlike the push press, it's not going to be a dip. It's just going to be a straight overhead. Nice and controlled, both directions. 15 reps on there. Once you're done with your push press, dropping down into a 90-90 stretch here on the hips. Key with this is drive the belly into the thigh. Squeeze this butt cheek, should get it nice and opened up. Not looking for this, that's just stretching the mid-back and upper back. We want to get the hip back here. So again, inhale, tense up. Exhale, relax a little bit further. If you need a little bit deeper stretch, you can start to rotate towards this foot. But again, we're not looking for this. That's pretty easy. Even your grandma can do that, but it's not needed stretching the actual hip itself. So really push that belly button into the thigh. Each side, 30 seconds on there, and then we'll move into strength session 2. All right, we're back for the second tricep of workout B, phase 1. First one's going to be the lateral lunges, then we'll move into some reverse flies, and then we'll be moving into a little bit of a corrective. So right there here on your lateral lunge, stepping off. With or without weight, if you want to start off with some body weight, you can. Moving 15 reps on each side. Work on that press without falling over. Right through here, Dropping the weights nice and low. Again, try not to bend over at the upper body too much. So right through here, press back up. The weight on that should be right above the ankle, not one of these things. And you also don't want to come short because you're not that strong. Get a nice stretch. It's be a nice long lateral lunge right here and right back up. Moving into reverse flies. Pick a very light weight on this. This is really not a huge, heavily weighted item. We want to really work on lightweight with these reverse flies right here. Squeeze and pinch the shoulder blades in the back. From the side right here. Just really working on pinching the shoulder blade as much as possible, driving that back, getting those guys pinched in. 15 reps on there. Moving into double leg hip bridge. So right here, try to activate the glutes and the back of the legs. Just driving up with the hips right through here. 10 reps, nice and control. Get squeezed as tight as possible. If you're getting a little bit of lower back pain, it's probably because you're going a little bit too far. Just keep a nice straight line from the knees all the way to the shoulders. Driving right through there. Next, we'll get into the energy system training for workout B. Alright, so the finisher for workout B today is going to be the mountain climber. Pretty standard, nothing too complicated about it. Dropping down, plant the hands, make sure they're nice and flat. See a lot of people do this one right here. It's because they have bad wrists. No, you don't. They're just inflexible. Plant the hands nice and solid. Drive the knee up. Drive the knee up. Try and get that knee to the outside of the elbow. We really want to open up these hips in these ones. And then come right back up. Just drop them down. On your squat out. So once you've done your mountain climber, come back to this nice solid squat position. Nice solid squat on the way out. 20 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest, 2 to 4 rounds, depending on where you're at in the program on weeks.